Right. I'm here to briefly talk about my new book, which is called The State During the British Raj, Imperial Governance in South Asia from 1700 to 1947. It's a book that deals with nearly 2.5 centuries of South Asian history. And the purpose of this book is to reintroduce Pakistani readers to the history of the British Indian state. And the reason why I feel that is necessary is that since 1947, much of the scholarship that we have produced on the colonial period has not actually dealt with colonial India itself. It has rather dealt with the rise of Muslim nationalism. And there is a significant gap in our literature and our discourse about what the British Raj was, what it meant, and what was its legacy. The other important part about the book is that it connects with a lot of our contemporary debates. So, for example, in Pakistan, we talk about civilian supremacy over the military, or we talk about the emergence of democracy or representation or civil society. We talk about the importance of meritocracy in public administration. And we, of course, also talk about constitutionalism, the rule of law, and a range of related factors such as an independent judiciary. So what this book basically does is that it looks at the history of South Asia and it tries to see the ways in which the British Raj in India contributed to the development of these different features. So if you're talking about civilian supremacy, that is not something that you find existing in South Asia prior to British rule. Civilian supremacy is very much a British legacy. Similarly, if we talk about democracy or representation or civil society, again, these social structures and movements and administrative changes take place during the British Raj in India. So from there, what I basically argue is that when we look at South Asian history, we can divide our institutions into two broad categories. There were certain institutions like the bureaucracy, like the army, for example, that existed in India for thousands of years before British rule. And then there are some institutions like multi-party democracy, like the rule of law, like constitutionalism, like a merit-based civil service, etc., which developed after the advent of British rule. So if we want to understand our crisis of these institutions, we need to understand how they evolved in the first place. And that is the purpose of the book itself.